Alright guys, it's Ronnie here. Decided to do a little farm update. It's the beginning of August. Hadn't done one since about mid-June, so I decided to show some of the stuff that we got growing on here. Let's start with the the wild grapes, the muscadines. Everything looks wild here. Grass growing everywhere. Hadn't been able to cut grass because it's been raining every afternoon, but you can see the muscadine. That one is really doing good. The other ones did not survive. Monkey grass is looking kind of wild. Alright, these are the Cherokee purple tomatoes. And then I had one, some type of beans in here. Not sure what they are because my father-in-law gave them to me. But I got a couple. I planted these from seed in May. Remember we had all the cool weather. They actually fell over. I didn't get to stake them up, and I hadn't trimmed them up much, but I have trimmed them now. I got one little tomato coming on. Got a couple more starting to sprout. There's another one. Looking pretty decent. I just trimmed these up and pinned them up. As you can see, the beans are growing up in here. And I just pulled a hornworm off of it, a tomato worm. So hopefully these will continue to do good. Was watching a YouTuber. I think they're from maybe Maine or something. I had to try to find a link to him. Somebody knew I just started watching, and he suggested putting fertilizer on his during the growing season. About once a week he'll put some on it, and his tomatoes look absolutely outstanding. So I have been doing that the last 2 weeks. All right, this is my okra, and this stuff is about 6 foot tall now. I got these from Rob, the Sapper Gardener. It's Yon family gardening, and I just did a video on how to blanch okra because I didn't plant a whole lot. As you can see, I got, I don't know, not too many plants here. Do have some Clemson spineless in here. I pulled most of them up mainly because I didn't want them to cross pollinate. I got one left in here. That's some basil. These are the container I had back here, the cherry tomatoes. They got lots of fruit on them. I've gotten a good many off of these. Roma tomatoes, got lots of fruit on them too. This is a Cherokee purple too. It's kind of behind. And that is a sucker off of the cherry tomato. If you remember, the mortgage lifter was back here in this back corner. It got about 5 foot tall and it never produced any fruit. They would fall off, so I removed it. I got tired of messing with it. I figured it was kind of hurting these other ones, so I went ahead and removed it out of here. We'll see what happens with it. Just had a storm roll through here. It's about 4:15. You can see the storm tore up my roof on my turkey shed there. That's what the guineas have been living in. They have since taken residence on my air conditioner, so I put something there to keep them from getting on it, and they have since taken residence on one of my windowsills. And our new dog that we have a Boykin Spaniel. It likes to chase them every time it comes out in the yard, so I'm gonna have to try to put a stop to that. Anyway, they're not using that. What happened was I moved it out here, and when I did, they quit using it. I have been moving it the whole time, but then I left it there in that spot for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. They quit using it. I really wish they would just roost in the trees though, to be honest, but I know they have less of a chance of surviving up there with owls and stuff getting them at night or whatever. So let's show you the garden, see what it looks like, the little garden I have out here. So we are in the middle of the beginning of August. And the corn, I've gotten a few ears off of it. It was kind of starchy, it wasn't very good. We should have thinned those out. A lot of the ears didn't make real big ears. The beans here are really starting to take off. I'm not sure if we'll get a lot off of those or not. We'll see. The cucumbers in this plot have done really, really well. This gets a good bit of shade here, but it also gets sun throughout the day at different times. Right now at 4:30 in the afternoon, it's getting a little bit of afternoon sun, and then that's about to disappear behind the trees. Maybe another hour or two of sun here. But it gets sun, it kind of comes across here. And you can see we got trees there. We got this big old pine tree here. This one vine right here has continued to produce cucumbers pretty much all summer long. None of the tomatoes over here produced anything. Maybe a couple. But you can see the beans are all looking very lush. We do have watermelon back here. You see that joker right there? Squash had pretty much petered out. I pulled most of them up. This one still has a few blooms on it. We'll probably get a few off of it. The squash was planted too close with the cucumbers. So a lot of these cucumbers here cross-pollinated with them. That'll be something that we'll change next year for sure. Now we have another watermelon you can see there. And you can see the wind's blowing really, really hard right here. But we're still getting some squash. See, there's a squash forming. We still have some blooms coming on. So we'll continue letting them ride out. We harvested about 10 cucumbers from here today. You can see that watermelon vine is continuing on, and it's got some. There's some tomatoes coming on right there. All right, guys, these are pumpkins. As I said before, my father-in-law planted most of this stuff over here this year. He planted these a couple of weeks ago, and they're looking really good. Planted some more beans right here. They're starting to sprout. Here's another watermelon. So we might get a watermelon for the end of the growing season. Here's another pumpkin patch that he planted. And you can see the tomatoes in there. From what I gather, tomatoes just hadn't done good for many people this year. I hadn't had any more resident birds come in. I've still been checking them. So I had one, this is nest box 3. I had a bluebird nest in here, had 5 bluebirds in it, and all of them hatched out. They all lived, so that was successful. And then bird nest box number 2, which is that right there where you can see, right there. It didn't have anything in it. I fought wasp in it all year long. And the first nest box, which is down near the road, down there had a nest of chickadees in it. I think it had 4, and all of them lived, or they made it out of the box. So it's a pretty good year with nest box. I was hoping we'd get another nesting, but we didn't. But that's cool. I was glad we got that one. So the rain, and then me taking 2 vacations. We went on our one vacation to Oak Island, which I have several videos on. And then I went this past weekend with our church, with the kids from our church, to a summer Christian camp. Those 2 things, and along with all the rain that we've gotten, has really put us behind. And keeping up with the bush hogging and stuff. That, along with the tractor breaking. I have a video on that where I fixed it. The tractor was down about 3 weeks. You know, by the time I got the part and I had to paint it and then putting it back on, And so it was about 3 weeks it was down. And then it's just so wet, it's hard to get in here and bush hog. So I'll show you what this looks like. So this is my back pasture. And in the last video I showed you all this was probably about less than knee high. So I got to get in here and bush hog this. Along with bush hogging all this, I got to bush hog my deer food plots and my trails behind here and move some new stands, and then I got to start disking some places for food plots. So I'm really behind and the rain is not helping. I wish I had already had something planted and this rain was coming down on it, but it's still a little early to plant fall food plots. Normally we plant those in September. So hopefully I can still get to those in September. Maybe a couple Saturdays I can knock that out. Hopefully I'll be able to show some of that on here, me planting it and what I'm gonna do and all. So let's go to the front yard. The good thing about the deer stands, I mean, I have deer stands up, I just want to move some in some different places, and I want to build like 2, and then I got to do some maintenance work on 1. It's actually, I have a video on another channel that I might share on here of me putting some cover around it and some limbs. I actually replaced the floor in that deer stand last year, and I'm gonna build a new deer seat. I'm gonna build a new seat in it this year, a bench seat with a back on it. That way, me and my kids can hunt in that. And then I want to build 2 tower stands, probably about 10, 12 foot tall, something like that. This is the little strawberry patch. These have still yet to produce big strawberries. I think it's just this type of strawberry it is. They don't produce big ones. In the meantime, since this last video, I built a farmhouse desk. I'll share a couple pictures in here of the progress of that now. We also redid the end table with some chalk paint. I'll show you that. My wife did that. She also helped me paint. So here's the table. I built this table about 8 or 9 years ago. It's a tapered leg table. This is made out of yellow poplar. Got it from a sawmill, and this was like a blue color, and it had like a white coat of paint up under it, and it was scratched up intentionally to show the white paint. We painted this this is a chalk paint that we painted it with. So she likes it, I like the color of it. So that's what we done with that. This rosemary is finally taking off. It's spread out and it's looking good. The azaleas still ain't doing too much. They got a little bit of growth on them there. Got a hosta planted there. You can see that chartreuse on that rhododendron. That's new growth. This bush here though, it's not growing much. That's a few weeds I need to clean out. Those are blooming. Got a tomato plant here and some creeping jenny spreading out. Got an agave cactus I just stuck there. Don't really look good here, but I didn't have nowhere else to put it, so I just stuck it there for right now. I'll move that later. And bought these black-eyed Susans and planted. Those are a little Henry. So those bushes have grown. Probably I trimmed them at the beginning of summer, and from where you see the blooms to all the way at the top, all that's new growth. Monkey grass is spreading. I just pulled the grass out of all this not even 3 or 4 days ago. Man, this Gara stuff, it has spread so huge. It is pretty, attracts lots of bees and stuff, but it's almost making it where you can't see my lower pedulum back there, which they'll fill out. I did bring some dirt in here and fill in on top of it, and the grass has already grown through it, so I'm happy about that. Just got to get in here and cut it. This is dianthesis I planted. I bought this, the Black Eyed Susans, and then I got this right here. This is Hossip, I think. Man, this is very pretty too. Bees love this stuff. I'm thinking that's the name of that. I just pulled the weeds out of here too. That's another tomato that I just stuck out here. It didn't do much, it fell over. I didn't ever stake it. Grass is just popping up everywhere in here. I gotta figure out something else to use instead of the pine needles. Before I put the pine needles down, the year before I put mulch, and I didn't have quite as much issue with that. But I was trying to get away from mulch up against the house so it wouldn't attract termites or anything like that. I added to the front of this bed, planted that butterfly bush there. It's really starting to take off. I think I showed this before. And I've talked about making this bed right here. I finally got around to making it. I had some dirt piles down here that are brought up and put dirt here. And in this bed, from the front of that tree to where the pine needles stop, it actually has cardboard up under it. So that's keeping the grass out of here for the most part. You can kind of see some of it shining through right there. Make sure I pulled all the tape off of it and everything. I got to get that grass back there. But I didn't have any, ran out of cardboard and pine needles. Not really sure what I'm going to plant in that spot. I'm thinking maybe some blueberries or some knockout roses, but I'm not really sure. I had thought about planting some blueberries there, all the way across, and of course leaving the door out. And I was going to put me a couple rocks right here to step on. I don't really want that to be covered up. That way people can get to it and work on it and stuff. And I want to be able to get to my hose. I want to put a hose reel right there, but I want to find a really good one because I don't want one that's going to break. I want one that's going to last, because I don't want to have to drill multiple holes if one breaks and then buy a new one and then put more holes in my brick. So anyway, I had long bush hogged all that where you see that edge. That stuff has grown up like crazy. So I'm gonna probably tackle that again this winter once all that dies out. I know people say not to use Roundup and all, but this is a good case where it would have come in handy. There's just no way to control all that. There's no way physically I could have manually controlled all that. There's piles of dirt in there. I can't cut it with a lawnmower. I can't get in there, so I'm gonna have to get somebody here to smooth all this out, and that way I can keep it cut with a lawnmower. And the same thing with my front. Where you see that high grass right there, I've just bush hogged that. I don't cut it with a lawnmower. There's a big ditch right there that I need to get filled in. And I really like to get those trees taken down on the road and get that bank shaved down so I can see the front of the road. Periodically we have people that'll just park up there for some, you know. Anyway. Alright guys, I talked a lot, showed a lot. I try not to do too many of these because I know they're kind of long and kind of boring. But it helps me document what things look like along the way. I can look back at the old videos and see how things look. I had somebody comment on my channel. Actually, somebody, I think it was on Instagram. They're local. They're actually, I think they may live in my county or they live in our state. They had talked about how much different things looked here from what I first started showing. And in my eyes, not much had changed. But, you know, I really appreciate them bringing that out. It makes you feel good about all the work you put in, you know, to your place and all. And it's good to have something like this documented that you can go back and look what it used to look like versus what it looks like now. So, I mean, we have come a long way. And, you know, once she said that, I got to looking at some old photos and stuff. And it's not where I want it to be. And I guess it's a continual process. So it's kind of like getting saved and coming to know Christ. There's a process called sanctification, which is becoming more Christ-like, and it's a process that goes on throughout your whole life until you die and go to heaven. So it's kind of like this. It's a way to relate it to this. Anyway, I appreciate y'all stopping by and checking us out, and we'll see y'all in the next video.